dust moved like ghosts through the dead cornfields. The old grain silo stood crooked against the horizon, rust bleeding down its sides, watching the world rot slowly beneath an indifferent sky. Crows perched along the sagging fence wires, quiet. For once, as if even they had nothing left to say, Cole Danner sat on the tailgate of his faded red truck, elbows on knees, chewing through a cold sandwich. He didn't taste it. He didn't taste much of anything these days, not since the accident 3 winters ago. His eyes were fixed on the field beyond, where wind made waves in the dying grass, and the sun burned low behind a veil of ash and prairie smoke. Beside him sat a small lunchbox, dented and patched with old tape. Inside, a child's note folded neatly. "Love you, Dad. Ellie." The only reason he woke up each morning. A cough rattled from somewhere in the distance. Dry, weak. He didn't turn. Probably just a wanderer. The drought had driven people from the hills for weeks now, sun-cracked men and dust-covered. Mothers with swollen ankles and hollowed eyes, drifting like ghosts through the edge of town. He'd given food once. They came back the next day with 3 more. He hadn't opened the door since. But then, a whisper, He froze. The voice was small, but it didn't belong to a man. He turned slowly. There they stood, 5 figures barely outlined in the rippling heat. A woman, visibly pregnant, one hand across her belly. 4 little girls around her, their clothes torn, faces caked with dust. Their eyes were wide and still, not begging, just waiting. The eldest, maybe 12, took a step forward. "Can we have your leftovers?" she asked. Her voice cracked halfway through. The woman behind her didn't speak, only laid a hand on the girl's shoulder, not in warning, but in quiet apology. As if this ask had cost her something, Cole looked. Down at his hands, the crust of the sandwich remained. He'd been too sick to eat all morning. Still, he hesitated. "Wait here," he muttered. He climbed into the cab, opened the glove box, and pulled out an old granola bar and a sealed bottle of water he kept for emergencies. When he returned, the girls hadn't moved. The youngest, barefoot, stared up at him with wild, blinking eyes. He handed the food out slowly. The girls didn't lunge or tear. Each took their portion with both hands like they were cradling glass. The woman finally spoke, barely louder than wind. "Thank you." Her voice wasn't cracked like the girls', it was careful. Even like someone who'd once spoken with authority but now chose silence. Her face was gaunt, sunburnt. A long gash along her arm had crusted over. Cole noticed the way she winced when she adjusted the strap of the old canvas bag slung across her back. "You got a place?" he asked, nodding toward the distant hills. She didn't answer. One of the girls, maybe 8 years old, suddenly slumped against the truck tire. She was shaking. Cole stepped forward instinctively. "She all right?" The woman knelt fast, checking her daughter's forehead. "No fever. Just exhaustion. She hasn't eaten in 2 days," she whispered. Cole looked at the horizon, then back at them. His boots crunched dry gravel as he made a decision he'd promised himself he wouldn't make again. "I've got a barn. Not much, but it's clean. You can sleep there." The woman didn't thank him. Not because she wasn't grateful, but because she didn't quite believe it. That night, under the soft groan of the windmill, Cole led them up the narrow road to his ranch. It sat between 2 tired ridges, a slumping house, a half-collapsed barn, a sagging porch swing that creaked when no one touched it. His daughter's swing. His daughter's laughter, once. Ellie met him at the front door with a flashlight and furrowed brow. "Daddy!" "Who's that?" Cole stepped close and placed a hand on her shoulder. "Just folks that needed some help." Ellie's gaze moved from the woman's belly to the youngest girl's bare feet. She didn't ask questions, just turned and opened. The door. "Come in," she said softly. Cole laid blankets across the barn floor while Ellie brought over 2 quilts and a tin of warm soup. The fire in the corner flickered against old hay bales and rusted tools. Asterisk, the pregnant woman sat against the far wall, arms around all four girls as if her body could shield them from the cold creeping in. Asterisk, what's your name? Elias. Asterisk, May. The woman said after a moment, and these are my daughters. Leela, Uni, Tess, and Hope. Cole paused. You call the little one Hope? May nodded. She named herself. Asterisk, they all looked toward the smallest girl, now curled up under the quilt, her thumb in her mouth. Asterisk, Cole blinked, and for half a second, a cruel, blinding second, he saw his wife holding their daughter that first snowy winter, whispering stories of stars and horses and lanterns that could guide the dead home. He left without another word. Asterisk, the wind picked up. Somewhere in the dark, a coyote howled, not long, not desperate, just a reminder that the world beyond the fence was still hungry. Asterisk. Cole stood in the kitchen pouring hot water into a chipped mug. He held it between both hands, watching the steam vanish in front of him like memory. Then the floor creaked behind him. Asterisk, he turned to see May in the doorway, her eyes sunken but steady. Asterisk, you didn't have to help us, she said. Asterisk, her voice was quiet, but this time there was no hesitation. No fear, just truth. Asterisk, I know, he replied, but I did. Asterisk, she nodded, not a thank you, not a surrender. Just understanding. Asterisk, you can stay, he said finally. Couple days. Till the girls are steady. Asterisk, we won't be trouble. Asterisk, he nodded. You already aren't. Asterisk, May turned to go. But before she crossed the threshold, she paused. Asterisk, I saw the picture on your mantel. Your wife? She passed, he said simply. May didn't offer condolences. She just placed a hand on the frame, held it gently, then left the room. Asterisk, Cole stood in the silence long after she'd gone. The mug in his hands had gone cold. Outside, the lantern on the barn swayed slightly in the wind. The barn breathed with sleep. Slow, quiet breaths beneath threadbare quilts, faint rustles of limbs tangled in dreams. But outside, the wind had changed. Asterisk, Cole stood on the back porch before dawn, coffee steaming between his fingers, watching the pale mist stretch over the land like a shroud. The fields were brittle with frost now. The earth had hardened, and something in the wind had gone wrong. It didn't sing. It listened. Asterisk, the ridgeline was quiet, too quiet. No crows, no crickets, not even coyotes. Asterisk, inside the barn, May stirred before the girls. She didn't move fast. Her swollen belly made sure of that, but she moved with purpose, always, quiet as the morning. She folded the blankets. Set out dry bread from the pantry. Checked the bruises on her girls without drawing attention to them. Cole had been watching her, not to pry. Just to understand. Asterisk, she never asked for anything. She didn't smile, not really, but she never cried either. Even when Uni coughed so hard it made her ribs ache, or when Leela dropped a plate and nearly broke it, May would simply kneel, gather the pieces and sweep away the fear in silence. Asterisk, that kind of calm, that came from somewhere deep. Somewhere torn. By the time the sun crept through the pale clouds, Ellie was hauling water from the pump with Hope at her side, both girls bundled in 2 big coats and matching wool scarves. The older girls helped clean the shed. May patched the broken barn door with wire and a hammer she'd found in Cole's toolbox. Asterisk, she worked like a woman who had nothing but the moment. Like someone who'd learned not to count tomorrows. Asterisk, Cole brought her a bucket of hot water and clean rags. Your girls don't talk much, he said. They've learned not to. That was all she offered. He nodded, then gestured to the wire fence stretching behind the barn. Asterisk, there's a coyote den somewhere near. If you hear them at night, don't leave the barn. Asterisk, I won't, she said. And then after a pause, thank you for the blankets. Asterisk, he shrugged. My daughter outgrew them last year. Asterisk, May ran a hand across her belly. I hope mine doesn't grow too fast. It was the closest thing to a smile he'd seen on her. Asterisk, that evening, a storm rolled in. Not one of rain, but wind and dirt, the kind that scraped your eyes and pulled shutters from windows. Cole hammered boards over the barn's loose planks while May kept the children calm beneath a flickering lantern. The wind howled like something wild, remembering its name. Asterisk by nightfall. The land was drowned in red haze. Asterisk May stood by the barn's open doorway, watching the sky turn to rust. Asterisk, you seen this before? Cole asked. Asterisk, only once, in a desert town, before a raid. Asterisk, he looked at her sideways. Raid? Asterisk May didn't flinch, just lowered her gaze. Asterisk. There was a camp. For girls. They said it was for relocation after the fires. But it wasn't. It was a cover, a warehouse for those no one would miss. Her hand tightened over her belly. They tried to keep me. I took who I could. She looked up at him, eyes dark and unwavering. 4 made it out. 5, counting this one. Asterisk Cole said nothing. Not because he didn't believe her, but because part of him already had. That night, thunder rumbled deep in the hills, but no lightning ever came. May sat by the barn's small window, sharpening a piece of iron into something sharp. Her daughters huddled together, asleep, dreamless. Ellie curled near them, her tiny arm across Hope's chest like a shield. Cole sat across from May in the dark. Where's the father? Asterisk, she didn't answer at first, then asterisk, he's the reason we ran. Another silence passed between them, heavy and fragile. Was he a soldier? He asked. Asterisk, worse, she said. A contractor. Wore the badge when it suited him. Took girls. In the name of order. She pulled a folded paper from her pack, aged, creased, smudged with old blood. Cole unfolded it. Asterisk, a photograph. A man in desert fatigues, stern jaw, cold eyes. A U.S. Marshal badge half visible on his chest. And handwritten below, asterisk, if he finds us, run, asterisk. Cole stared at the face. Burned it into memory. Asterisk, you think he's looking for you? Asterisk Maze. Voice was barely a breath. Asterisk, I know he is. The next day, the sheriff showed up. Asterisk, his boots were muddy, his eyes watchful. A man too old to fight and too proud to admit he couldn't anymore. Asterisk morning. Danner, he said, stepping off his horse. Asterisk mornin', Cole said back. Arms crossed. Asterisk, folks down by the store saw some shadows last night, figures near your ridge. Asterisk, you saying someone's trespassing? Asterisk, I'm saying. We've had break-ins lately. Livestock gone, tools stolen. Could be drifters. Could be more. He leaned on the post. You seen anyone? Cole shook his head. Just wind and ghosts. The sheriff studied him. You've got a reputation, Danner. Quiet, careful. Keep it that way. With that, he tipped his hat and rode off. Cole watched the trail long after the man had vanished. That night, the barn was lit with lantern glow. May sat brushing the girl's hair, one by one. Cole leaned against the doorway, arms folded, watching the firelight dance. Asterisk. You ever kill a man? She asked without turning. He blinked. Yes. Asterisk, did you regret it? Asterisk, he thought a long time. Asterisk, I regretted not doing it sooner. May nodded. Then we're the same. In the morning, Hope wandered too far past the fence. Cole found her crouched near the tree line, holding a piece of metal, a bullet casing, fresh. Asterisk, he scanned. The hills? Nothing moved. But something had. He took Hope by the hand and carried her back to the barn, inside. He showed May the casing. She took it, turned it in her fingers like she recognized it by weight. It's him. Cole didn't ask how she knew, he just looked at the girls, and then at his daughter. Asterisk, you'll stay in the house tonight, he said, all of you. May nodded once. Thank you. Later, as the girls slept in Ellie's room and May watched the door from the rocker beside the fireplace, Cole stepped onto the porch and loaded his rifle, slowly, deliberately. Asterisk. The wind had stilled, but something was coming. He could feel it. He could smell it in the dirt and see it in the birds that refused to land. The sun rose without warmth. Asterisk gray light spilled over the prairie like spilled ash, touching the broken fence posts and the frost-laced field where no wheat grew anymore. The barn doors groaned gently in the wind, and the old weather vane spun. Without meaning, Asterisk Cole stood alone by the fence line, rifle slung over his shoulder, eyes scanning the tree line beyond the ridge. Every breath clouded the air, but the sky was clear, too clear, Inside the house, May moved quietly, folding blankets, checking the children's shoes. Her fingers trembled. Not from fear, from knowing. She had known this day would come since the first time she ran. Some men you could hide from. Some you couldn't. The one who wore a badge and a mask, you didn't outrun him. You outlived him. Hope sat at the kitchen table with Ellie, coloring with dull crayons. Leela peeled potatoes. Tess stood by the window, not blinking. It was. Uni who asked, "Will we have to run again?" May knelt beside her. "No," she said, brushing a hand over her daughter's tangled hair. "We fight now." It came slow. A black car, wide and low, rolled down the trail like a beetle slick with oil. Dust curled behind it. The engine barely whispered. Cole had already seen the tire tracks that morning, fresh, cut clean through frost like a signature. He stood in the doorway as the car pulled up 20 feet from the porch. The door opened. 2 men stepped out. One wore a long wool coat, silver hair, eyes like cold glass. The man from the photo, only now the lines were deeper, meaner. He didn't wear the badge on his chest anymore. But it might as well have been tattooed across his mouth when he smiled. The second man, younger, heavier, less certain, stayed behind him, hands in his pockets, glancing around too much. Morning, the silver-haired man said, his voice smooth as gravel under ice. Name's Everett. I'm looking for a woman, pregnant, 4 girls? Cole didn't blink. No one like that here. Everett laughed softly, like it was all a game. See, I think there is. And I think you know where they are. Behind. Cole, the girls had gone silent. May stepped forward into the frame, standing behind him, eyes fixed on Everett. Everett's smile disappeared. There she is. Cole took a step forward. You'll leave, he said. Everett tilted his head. You sure you want to be in this, son? This doesn't concern you, Cole's voice dropped. It does now. Everett motioned to his partner, who began walking toward the porch. Cole lifted the rifle, not to his shoulder, not yet, just a reminder. Stop. The man froze. I got 6 witnesses inside, Cole said. You take another step, I won't ask again. Everett raised a hand. The man backed up. The wind moved again, slow, dry. I'll be back, Everett said, voice dipped in steel. And when I come, I won't knock. He turned, got in the car. They drove away without another word. Cole lowered the rifle. May stood beside him, silent. You should run, he said. She looked at him, eyes burning, not from fear, but from something deeper. I won't, she said. Not this time. They spent the afternoon boarding windows, checking locks, gathering supplies. May cleaned the pistol she'd hidden in the lining of her pack. Cole prepped the truck, just in case. But there was no panic. No shouting. Just the kind of stillness that came before a wildfire. When the sun fell, and the cold crept in again. May stood beside the fireplace with the girls. I need you to listen, she told them. If something happens, you stay with Ellie. You follow her, no matter what. Where will you be? Hope asked. May looked at Cole across the room. I'll be right behind you. They came just after midnight. No headlights, no warning. Just the echo of boots on gravel and the metallic click of a car door. Cole was already awake. So was May. He moved fast, placed Ellie and the girls in the pantry behind the kitchen, handed May the pistol, and slipped out the back with his rifle. The men were already at the barn. 3 of them now, one with a crowbar, one watching the house. Everett in the middle, lighting a cigarette like it was a church ceremony. Cole stepped into the open. Looking for something? He called. They all turned. Thought I told you, Everett said. You don't want this. I told you the same. The man with the crowbar stepped forward. Cole didn't hesitate. The first shot rang like thunder in dry sky. The crowbar fell. The man went down with it. The others scattered for cover. May appeared in the porch shadow, eyes fixed, pistol steady. She fired twice. One shot struck the dirt. The other grazed the shoulder of the man ducking near the water tank. He screamed and fell back. Everett dropped to one knee behind the car door, pulled a revolver. Cole moved to flank, ducking behind the old trough. His heart pounded, not with fear, but with rage. Not for himself, for the quiet girl in the pantry with his daughter, for the woman who fixed his broken gate, for the children who didn't know what safe felt like. Gunfire flashed again, wood splintered. May cried out from behind the porch, her arm grazed. Cole rose and fired. The bullet struck Everett in the leg. The man groaned, dropped his gun, tried to stand and failed. Silence fell. The second man limped toward the car, bleeding. He left Everett behind. The engine roared, tires spun, and dust swallowed them. Cole walked toward Everett slowly. Gun raised. The man glared up at him. You think this ends it? Cole said nothing. You don't know what she is. What she's done? You're throwing away your life for a asterisk. The crack of the rifle was louder than any word he could have finished. Everett slumped back, and then silence again, but this time it was peace. Cole buried the body out by the creek. May didn't ask questions. She just dug with him, shoulder wrapped, face steady. When it was done, he burned the black car behind the barn. Metal twisted, tires popped in the flames. The fire swallowed the last of the badge that had once tried to own them all. The next morning, Ellie brought breakfast to the girls. May sat on the porch with Cole, nursing a mug of tea. You didn't have to help us, she said again. No, he said, but I did. She looked at him, tears forming now, slow, tired tears from too many years of silence. You don't know what you've done, she whispered. I think I do. Behind them. The girls were laughing, playing Even Hope. It was the first time May had heard them laugh in months. Weeks passed. The frost melted. Green touched the earth again, just barely. Ellie and the girls planted flowers along the barn. Cole fixed the swing and painted it blue. May stayed. They didn't speak of it, but everyone knew she wasn't leaving. Cole cleared out the spare room in the house. Needs light, May said, so he built a window. At night, May still lit a lantern at the edge of the ridge, for the ones who didn't make it out, for the shadows still walking somewhere without a home. But now, she didn't light it alone. Cole stood beside her, and in the silence, in the wind, something healing moved, not loud, not quick, but steady, like roots pushing through winter soil.